this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill no one.
Wait a second.
No. We
return to our planet. The High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies. We like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings, you're watching Inside Movies Galore. I'm SeptumSin. This is Kotobukijake.
Here to perform the Oscar-nominated, gorgeously empowering song, Let It Go, from the Oscar-winning animated movie Frozen, please welcome the wickedly talented one and only Delusions.
Jake.
Hi.
And we're here to show you what we got.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
Right.
You know, we never did make a determination as to who goes first.
No, we didn't.
Looks like you got at least one big thing that you could show off at the end, so why don't I go first then?
Or the beginning.
Yeah, you got a good bookender there.
Yeah.
So why don't I go first then? First thing came in today is this Sore Losers Monopoly. Now, I think this is an interesting concept. They had it on sale for $14. I said, hey, why not? It's got some interesting stuff. Like it's got got a Tyrannosaurus Rex. The dog looks like it's either dead or passed out. Cat on its belly.
I like how there's a figure for the very angry Mr. Monopoly.
Yes. You got the car has a boot on it. And the ship is sinking.
They're the same properties, aren't they?
Yeah. Is that a penguin? I guess it is a penguin. See, look at the... You can see the differences. It's hard to see what they... But, apparently, cash in these Monopoly coins to grab a Mr. Monopoly token. Then stomp your way around the board collecting money instead of paying it. Oh, so theoretically, you could get hotels on Boardwalk and Park Place, but then if you switch it around, you could end up saying, okay, now that you put that hotel, now you give me the money for your Boardwalk and Park Place. Apparently, it's an interesting concept. There's a lot of different ones I want to get with different rule sets, like that Socialist Monopoly and all that stuff. They look interesting. I've been collecting Monopoly variants. And it used to be just for theming, but now I'm more interested in the ones with different rule sets because those are much more fun and they're different. They're not just like, I want to play a different theme. But if I want to just play basic Monopoly, I've got a really nice Monopoly board for that. And for those who are interested in seeing that board, we did a Monopoly game on the channel, as a matter of fact. So you should check it out. What have you got for us today?
Well, alright, I'm going to start off with something kind of big. And purchase I just made from this one. It's a little old series that some people have heard of over the years. Called X. Volume 1. Volume 2. Volume 3. Volume 4. 5, 6, 7, and 8. And from the look of it, interestingly enough, the first 3 all say not for individual sale on the back. The others don't say anything about that. But I have to admit, I know he's condensing, and this takes up a crap ton of space. But it is a series that I need to have. I need to see eventually. And though I am trying very much, actually, interestingly enough, the one I'm going to end with is the opposite. It's going to be a space-saving option. But for the meantime, it'll be nice to have this. Maybe I'll get around to seeing it. How many episodes total is this?
I think it's a 26 or
24.
24.
All these is for 24 friggin' episodes?
The old days.
Yeah. I mean,
Remember, this is a pioneer release.
release.
This is a classic release.
Exactly. So, yeah, good times. The Clamp series. I know they have their very distinct art style. And from what I've heard, this is an interesting and strange kind of show, but be worth seeing eventually.
Alright, let's get that focus.
Okay.
Oh, focus just like going. Alright, let's see here. Let's autofocus that bad boy. There we go. So, yeah, and of course there's X1999, which is the movie, and it kind of summarizes all that. And, but it does have a slightly different feel to it. So, if you have that interest level. Alright, so my first one, back to the randomness again for the first 2 under 1. And that is the Criterion version of Funny Games. Now, this is the original. I've seen the remake. From what I've heard, the remake is pretty much the same thing as the original.
It's the same director, isn't it?
Yeah, it is the same director. It's just not in German. So, I guess it's kind of the English translation of Funny Games. So, I'm curious about it. I had a hard time with the original one. I don't really... I mean, I'm a little bit better at watching things with torture than he is. But considering this one is about them basically torturing a family for the entirety of the movie, it's, I don't know whether I'm going to watch this anytime soon. But, it's one there. I would think that you might have some difficulty with it. There's not a lot of blood, but there's a lot of torture.
Yeah.
Psychological and physical, which,
Yay!
Which I know is not usually up your alley.
Didn't the remake star Tim Roth?
I can't remember. I don't even have the remake anymore, which is funny.
Hilarious.
Funny Games.
No, I'd like to see Criterion pair the two for a future release. That might be fun.
That might be interesting.
I have seen 2 films by that director, Michael Haneke. I've seen, strangely enough, he did Amore, which is a very different film. And The White Ribbon had some interest to it. So next, are we done?
Yeah.
Okay. I made it out to a nearby Dollar Tree last week. First time I've been there in a hot minute. And they were pretty picked over. I mean, they had some good stuff, but they were kind of picked over. I ended up settling on 3 items. And one of them, interestingly enough, is a recent film that I'd actually seen some mention of over the last couple of years, and it was actually on my radar. Not like top priority, but it was on my radar. And so, you know, the Blu-ray for $1, okay, I could do that. And that's a movie with David Diggs and Rafael Casal called Blind Spotting, that I could say is supposed to be a pretty good movie. I'm not super familiar with it, but essentially it's about an ex-con who falls in with his previous crowd and has to wonder if that's where he wants to be, basically. And this actually has... Oh, sorry. This actually has some half-decent bonus features, so... I don't know, that might be a good pickup for $1, so... It's pretty cool.
Let's see. Well, this one is a Dollar Tree pickup. Actually, this was an oldies pickup. This was a, like, 75-cent pickup.
Nice.
Which is the Good Family, which was a less successful Mike Judd. I think it's Mike Judd.
I was going to say it looks like King of the Hill.
Mike Judge, yeah. It was one of Mike Judge's less successful projects. I want to say it happened right after King of the Hill. Let me see what year it is. 2013. So, when did King of the Hill end?
I don't remember, honestly.
But it was one of his projects, and I kind of like his work for the most part. Beavis and Butthead, not so much, but I do like most of the. I did like King of the Hill a lot.
Right.
And so I'm willing to give this a try. I mean, it wasn't even $1.
Right.
So I'm willing to do that.
It looks like they're trying to kind of go for more of a left-wing take on King of the Hill.
Let's see here. Meet Gerald and Helen Good, a couple who live in motto WWAGD. What would by the motto? Well, what would Al Gore do? Gerald, a college administrator, and Helen, a community activist, are determined to obliterate their carbon footprint on the planet. They're zealous vegans. They drive a hybrid and recycle everything possible. Even the family dog, Che, is vegan. In the words of Helen, all the Goods want to do is buy organic apples and call minorities by their politically correct names. So yes, as you said, more of a far left King of the Hill.
Looks like it.
But looks like it might be fun.
Yeah. I mean, Mike Judge is fun. Actually, I revisited Extract a couple weeks ago, and it's good times.
Indeed, indeed.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I even knew about that one.
I knew about it, but it kind of fizzled and died really, really quickly.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
I bet his audience probably wasn't ready for that. Yeah. Anyway, or his main audience, I should say. So I had another one that probably would appeal to much of the same demographic. And that, of course, is a documentary about media. But it's called Page One Inside the New York Times. And so, well, it's what you might think. It's about the New York Times and how the newsroom works and all that kind of stuff. I feel like this is something I had heard about. I'm quite sure this is something I had heard about. It was probably on my radar as well, but it's from 2011, so I'd probably pretty much forgotten about it. But that also has quite a few special features on there. And, you know, I've said many times before, I like a good documentary. I'm hoping that's what this is. It's a Magnolia release, and again, I like picking those up when I see them in the wild. So, could be cool.
Alright. So, next up on the list here is a full moon feature. So, Mo, if you are watching, I'm sure you'll be happy with that. It is a movie called Head of the Family. I don't know much about this. I have heard about it. It was fairly cheap. I got it on sale. Something twisted in Knob Hollow. In the midst of the torrid affair with Loretta, a biker's wife, Lance discovers that the tiny town's weirdest residents, the Sackpool family, have been doing some hideous human experiments in the bowels of their basement. Lance blackmails Myron Stackpool, the head of the family, and his psychically controlled siblings into murdering Loretta's husband, but Lance soon finds that he's way over his head. Again, I like some good full moon stuff. A lot of these films were classics, and some of them are just fun features. This one's not necessarily a classic, but it is one that I have heard of, and I'm always curious about some good full moon stuff. A little bit of fun trash here now and
then. Okay. My next one is another documentary another Magnolia release, actually, that I picked up also at the Dollar Tree. This rounds out that purchase. And this is one that I don't think I'd ever heard of this, but I saw it and I was like, I must get this. And that is a movie called A League of Ordinary Gentlemen. Not
Yes.
to be confused with the film that supposedly butchered the Alan Moore graphic novels. This actually looks like it would have a little bit more to do with the Big Lebowski. It says here in the subtitle here, A Trip Through the Wild World of Professional Bowling. So, and again, that actually has a fair number of features. But yeah, so yeah, a documentary about professional bowling. I'm like, that's worth a look. There may be those who would disagree with me on that. I don't know, but I figure that's worth $1.
All right. So this next one is one I picked up again from Oldies. Since I have most of this theme randomly came with Oldies.
Interesting.
But another one that is cheap, but one I've been curious about, which is Banned Cartoons. Historical archive of the shameful racial abuse of Hollywood's yesteryear.
Yeah, I was looking at that and going, I wonder why they've been banned.
Now, of course, yes, these are nasty cartoons. I mean, you got Uncle Tom and Little Eva. I don't think we have to go, any further than that. 1930, Hitting the Trail for Hallelujah Land, 31. The Wrestling Match, 34. The Lion Tamer, 34. I've seen The Lion Tamer. Little Black Sambo, 1935. Which, by the way, Sambo's was one of the restaurants that they were looking at when they were talking about that Coon's Chicken.
Yeah.
Which used the Sambo as a Jungle Jitters, 38. Scrub Me Mama with a Boogie Beat, 1941. And Inky and Mina Bird, 43. Now, I admit, and this is one that was done by Oldies themselves.
Yeah.
But I'll admit, a lot of these, I like to preserve this because it's good to know the terrible places we've been, so we do not repeat this again.
Right.
A lot of people want to eliminate them, and then say, well, it exists. Well, if you have nothing to show, how can you tell people that it existed? They'll just start denying it ever existed and repeat their mistakes. So, for better or for worse, it's good to keep up with these just to show that, yes, it is terrible, but at least we know how terrible Hollywood can be. Gotta hold them accountable.
Yeah. And yeah, that looks like it would be pretty hideous, but we, as anyone who watches this channel or Movies Galore or any of our related channels knows, we like to make sure things of all sorts get preserved. Just as he said, you can deny otherwise. And I mean, that was one of the big plot points in 1984, and that was kind of Anyway, something that I imagine is probably less problematic. I certainly hope it is. Sentai recently did a pretty solid sale. Unfortunately, it was not one I could fully look away from. And I ended up making a couple of small purchases. And the first of those purchases will be the remainder of what I am presenting tonight. And this one is a series I've heard about, but I don't recall that I've really heard much about it. But it looks interesting, and strangely enough, I didn't have it, and it was actually pretty cheap. I think it was like $9 or something. So I went ahead and got it. And that's a series called Sagrada Reset. Complete collection, of course. That is a 24-episode series, actually, so that's not bad for, $9 or $10. The ability to reset time might seem like the ultimate superpower, but if you forget what was going to happen when you reset it, how would you know what you needed to change? Or if you'd make things better or worse? That's the paradox that faces Misora Haruki until she's paired with Kei Asai, who remembers everything, even if they happened in timelines that have been reset. There's still a catch. Of course there is. Each reset point can be used only once, and anything that happens in the 24 hours before a new one can be set will be locked in time forever. Etc., etc. That actually seems like a kind of a cool premise. Like I said, I don't recall that I've really heard anything super strong one way or the other on this one. Have you heard anything on this one? Well, like I said, it seems like a fun enough premise and good times. I'll look forward to probably getting to this one in 6 or 7 years.
So here's one that I got from Best Buy. Matter of fact, my oldies theme is done. So this is one I had thought had been out of print, but I found it went back into print briefly. And so I exchanged my copy for this just because I love the look of this Steelbook. And that is the Steelbook for Knives Out.
Oh, nice.
Now, I love this Steelbook. I mean, look at it. I mean, it has like a book feel and look to it. It's about the same as the regular Blu-ray, but it's really pretty art-wise. I really love this one. Normally, Steelbooks, I could take or leave. It's got one of these, you can tell it's got like the plastic thing that goes out.
I would have liked to have gotten that on Steelbook.
But yeah, this is just one that I think is really... Oh, it's 4K. Never mind. So, again, I really liked the movie. It was a good movie, well worth seeing. And this is a pretty awesome looking Steelbook. A lot of them, they don't go all out like this for what it looks like. Not much as far as special features. You got the audio commentaries. You've got Making a Murder, which is a documentary on it, and then Ryan Johnson Planning the Perfect Murder featurette. So, still not bad. I think probably some of the same ones that were on the other releases. This is one I'm sure we'll get a Criterion one of these days.
One of these days. That was a kick-ass movie.
But one I've wanted to present for a while.
Yeah, like I said, I would like to have that edition. So, speaking of special editions, the next one is another series, kind of like Sagrada Reset. I've heard a little bit about. I haven't really heard a whole lot one way or the other, but it looks interesting. And it had a special edition from Sentai that was not that expensive, but I still was willing to wait. And it finally came down to like $25, and I was like, okay, I'm willing to get it for that. So I went ahead and did. I bought the special edition of Tsurune, which, as you can see, it's not quite as fancy as some of their bigger ones, but it's still a really nice looking art box there. Clearly got a pretty thick book. I haven't opened it yet, but there's a book in there, and it looks like probably some art cards. We'll see what else. In life and archery, timing can mean everything. So, yeah, this definitely looks like it's... Looks like it's a sports anime revolving around archery, which, you could tell from the cover, but I just wanted to double check and make sure I'm right about that. And, I'm not huge on sports anime, but I do enjoy one that's well done. And archery is an unusual subject. You don't really see a whole lot about that. And I just thought that'd be kind of cool. And like I said, get a nice fancy edition for around $24-25. I could do worse. So, unfortunately, I was still waiting for Is It Wrong to hit on Girls in the Dungeon 2. It's still hanging out at 75. That's a little rich for my blood, but some of them come down in price.
Alright, so my last one, I gotta pick between two because I added that Monopoly at the beginning. So I'll just do this one. It's one I inherited, which was a fantasy action pack. of 6 movies, which I heard that from my father. He got it because Beastmaster was on it, but I got a better version of Beastmaster.
Oh, you got a great version of that.
So, but it also came with Dragon Quest, when a mythological beast is awakened by a warlord ready to conquer the world. A young keeper must summon his powers to battle the greatest forces of evil. Merlin and the War of the Dragons. Britain, 420 AD. The Dark Ages have begun. It's time for the legends and violence. And also a time of magic, mythical creatures, and exceptional wizard Merlin. Actually, Merlin was not a bad movie. It was fairly enjoyable. And Beowulf wasn't so bad, too. That actually had Christopher Lambert in it. Playing Beowulf. He is a half-man, half-god, and must fight to the death in order to quell the raging violence hidden deep in the bedeviled soul. It's kind of weird.
You sure you're not talking about Mortal Kombat?
It's kind of weird, because the Beowulf world here is almost steampunk in some ways, because they have the gas... They have gas lamps, which they didn't have that when Beowulf was.
No.
But still, very interesting. Some very dated CG effects, but still not bad overall. Midnight Chronicles, which was one of my favorites on there. In the world ruled by evil, an oppressed kingdom fears for its life. The evil intensifies when a legate goes missing, and a fellow priest sent to investigate discovers a haunting secret. It's a very dark one. Almost follows like the, like the evil. There's an evil religion, and the legates are like these priests of the religion, and the main character you follow is one of them. So it's kind of interesting take on that. Then finally, Warriors of Virtue: The Return to Tao, which Warriors of Virtue, if you don't remember, was a kung fu action film with kangaroo men. The original film is out of print. I do want to get a hold of a copy, so if any of you run across one, let me know. Because I have the sequel. And they're not kangaroo men in the sequel. There's not really a lot of ninja stuff in that one. So, I mean, there's ninja, but not in the sense there. It doesn't look...
He must not be a very good ninja, because I see him.
You look at this, and it looks like fantasy all the way through, and this one looks like the odd man out. But when you watch it, actually, it fits in fine, because it is more fantasy than it is martial arts. But that's all I got for us today. I'm going to put my other one up, but
Good
you
times.
can't see it, because it'll be up later.
So you did lead off, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, my last one, as I said when we started, X is a byproduct of him slimming his collection down. This was me slimming my collection down. And though I did not bring it, I can give you an illustration of how much space I saved, because this is a 5-volume set that I have condensed into this one little collection, which is the Hidamari Sketch Picture Perfect collection, which includes Hidamari Sketch, Hidamari Sketch 365, Hidamari Sketch Hoshimitsu, Hidamari Sketch SP, and Hidamari Sketch Honeycomb, which are seasons 1 through 3, the 2-episode OVA, and then season 4. I've not actually seen Honeycomb, so that's the one that's going to be new to me. I've seen all the rest, and this is a delightful series. It's really fun slice of life series about a group of girls who are students at an art school, and they live in a is the apartment called Hidamari? Or am I just making that up?
I think it is Hidamari apartment.
So they live in a dorm apartment very close to the school, and these 4 on the cover are the ones you see at the get-go. There are 2 others who are introduced. Is it season 2, I think?
Yeah.
And then the 2, these 2, the one with the dark hair and the one with the little curls there, they are the senpai, and I believe, don't they graduate before Well, actually,
Yeah, they graduate before the series ends, but the series
it
jumps
doesn't. Yeah,
around.
it's kind of weird because it's not only a slice of life series, it's a slice of life series that's completely
Yeah.
out of chronology.
Hitamari Apartments, yes.
Okay.
I was
Oh
reading
yeah,
it.
you're looking at the back.
So I can read it, yeah.
yeah. So you've got the main characters are, Yuno and Miyako. I think are the two, like, Yuno's, I think, the brown hair, and it's been a while since I've seen this. Miyako's the blonde, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Hiro and Sai are the two older students, and they're actually sort of a Yuri couple, but it's very played, very mellow. Like, they don't really lean hard into it. And you've also got their squeaky-shoed art teacher, who's kind of fun, and then the principal, who's just a strange character. He's always like shaking, very, very like a leaf in the wind.
Yeah, you kind of see his picture there, like
Yeah.
the
Do you?
You can see like the head.
Oh,
drawn
yeah,
there.
yeah. You don't. They don't have the art teacher on. No, I think. No, these are the other two students.
Yeah.
The other two girls are these two right here.
But the art teacher's not in the cover.
Yeah, which is kind of strange. She was a pretty big character. But they're really the only characters in the whole show, basically. And it's just a real mellow show. I love the cover art for this. Like, I love how they kind of have it made like a binder with each one of the seasons as the tabs on the binder. I think that was a really cool way of doing it. If you are at all artistically oriented, you might get a little more out of this than you would otherwise, but just generally, it's a fun series. And did all the seasons have themes by Marble at the end? I think they all had.
so.
I can't remember who opened, but I think it was like the same group that did the openers and the same group that did the enders. But the first season has a song by Marble called Mabai Drive that I just absolutely love. And I like the other openers and enders quite a lot too. But this was one that when they said they were doing a complete collection, I was like, oh good, I can combine it and save a lot of space. But I also wanted to save money, and I had to wait for this to come down in price. And I think, for the life of me, I can't remember if I ended up pulling the trigger before or after it hit 30. I want to say this was like 32, which really is not bad for 4 full seasons and 2 bonus episodes.
I wonder if the sound has been upgraded with the
Yeah.
the Blu-ray.
Lord knows you don't need a visual upgrade with this series, but if the sound's upgraded, that'd be nice. But yeah, and I had it on DVD, which is even more the reason why this is going to save a lot of space. A little disappointed they didn't go all out and do a deluxe edition for this, but you know, whatever. So, it's good times.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this.
Yep.
If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and of course, share. I actually have been working on the contrast a little bit to make sure we're not as shiny, which I think did pretty good in this case.
No?
I mean, you don't see as much reflection off of us.
No, we're not quite as shiny. Your glasses are doing a weird. You have these weird little evil rings.
Yeah, that's the ring light for us. But otherwise, I think pretty good. But in any case, hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye. Goodbye.